Hello, computer. Hello, computer. Hello, computer.
Heel mooi.
10 years ago there was this strange movie that seemed to come out of nowhere. It was starring the back then very popular Michael Cera and upcoming director Edgar Wright was directing. The film seemed to embody what it meant to be a 90s kid. Retro video games, rock and roll, a hero's journey and a devil-may-care attitude. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was unique when it came out and it has gained a massive following since. Scott Pilgrim kind of launched as a multimedia project, with a series of comic books, a movie and a video game all releasing around the same time. Director Edgar Wright got his hands on some of the Scott Pilgrim comics and wanted to do a movie before the last book was even out. Kind of like Game of Thrones. For this reason, the comic and the movie have different endings. The movie follows a young 20-something that plays in a band, dates a high school girl and is generally content with life. We soon discover, however, that he is actually running from a painful breakup and kind of stuck in life, until he meets Ramona. As they start dating, he gets a message that there is a league of 7 evil ex-boyfriends that Scott all has to defeat if he wants to continue to date her. What follows is absolute madness. A love letter to geek culture and a creative thrill ride. I won't spoil the movie if you haven't seen it, but if you by any chance missed this one, I'd strongly urge you to check it out. The casting for this film was absolutely on point, especially in the supporting roles. Aubrey Plaza, as that frowning friend, had her breakthrough in this film. As a musician myself, what I found the most interesting was the band.
You got 2 people there who played instruments before and 2 people who haven't.
I'm on the verge of a nervous breakdown and a heart attack. As of 2 months ago, I never touched a guitar or sang a song before in my life.
I found this lovely behind the scenes video of the cast jamming it out in practice rooms that look oh so familiar. When I was in music school, we practically used the same rooms to practice with our bands. According to Edgar Wright, Michael Cera was the only one with prior musical experience. One of the things that fascinates me about the work of Brian Lee Malley is how fast he works. Something I noted is that he mentions that he chose the art style and a black and white ink presentation because it's faster to write more comics and it was cheaper to print. So there's not a lot of vanity there. I think O'Malley prefers to have creative momentum. So this way actually allowed him to develop the story a little bit quicker. It's like he was trying not to pay too much attention to all the details, so he wouldn't forget the rest of the story that is. Edgar Wright stayed very true to the original comic book panels in directing this movie. You can feel it in the timing of the direction, even if you've never read the comic. It has this flow to it. YouTuber Hooper J. Cooper has made a nice comparison of shots in the movies and how they originated in the comic. This fast working approach may have worked for the comic, but for the product that was to coincide with the launch of the movie, well, not so much. Scott Pilgrim the game was actually on a tight deadline. I've heard a lot of YouTubers talk about what a painful process it must have been to be working on this game. But the end result is, well, it's a modern classic. When I first started playing it, I actually didn't like it all that much. I wasn't that well versed in beat 'em ups and I got my timing completely wrong. When I eventually got into the controls, I started really enjoying myself. Especially when I bought this 8-bit DOE Lite controller. The D-pads are perfect for games like this. But what makes this game so enjoyable are the kind of RPG-like elements to it. Scott levels up, He learns new moves and can buy items to buff up his stats. The game autosaves each time you play, so no matter how many times you do not get through the first level, eventually you will, because Scott will become more powerful and the new moves unlock new ways of gameplay. This game absolutely shines in co-op though. I think you should play this game in tabletop mode with 2 or 3 other friends. The game allows you to pick and level up different characters. After I finished playing with Scott, I started the playthrough with Kim. She has her own animations and moves, and I love how arrogant she looks in default mode. Aside from the story mode, Scott Pilgrim the game offers a few more ways of playing, like zombie survival mode, or a mode where you just fight all the bosses and try to make it to the end without dying. There have been some reported bugs, which isn't all that weird considering how little time the developers had to work on the game. But to be fair, I hardly noticed them. There was this one time when I got stuck in a shop for a minute or 2, but that was it. One thing that ties the comic, the movie and the game together is the music, and here we have a very special soundtrack. Chiptune band Anima Nagochi wrote and recorded the entire thing, and it's just awesome. Granted, it's not for everyone, but what I loved were all the different styles of music that were on there. I imagined how they wrote and arranged the entire thing only to kind of dumb it down with 8 and 16-bit sounds. There are these tracks that start out as pure 8-bit chiptune that gradually evolve with more instrumentation to make a really unique song and product. My absolutely favorite track is the one you hear in the shops. That jazzy bossa nova feel just suits me. Scott Pilgrim is one of the coolest multimedia projects there have ever been, and I'm sure it will hold its own for decades to come. I want to thank you all for watching. Please subscribe to our channel for more content like this, hit the bell button, and if you want to add me on Switch Online or just have your say, leave a comment and I will see you all in the next episode.